This is Mark Schofield from Inside the Pylon and Locked On Patriots with another edition of First Sound. We've already taken a look at Sam Darnold and the 12 interceptions he's thrown. Now let's take a look at Baker Mayfield. Don't have as much material to work with. Mayfield's only thrown 5 interceptions through the regular season. But the focus today is going to be on the mental component. Get it into Baker Mayfield's head. Not caring so much about planting flags at midfield or gesturing on the sideline. But one of the issues facing Baker Mayfield is, can he transition to the NFL game? People often point to Big 12 defenses that are trying to play defense in the Big 12. Mayfield throwing to wide open receivers and wondering if his traits, his game can translate to the next level. So looking at these interceptions, I want to get into his head on each throw, what he's seeing, what he's thinking, and the decisions that he's making. We're going to start with the first one. Go through these in chronological order, just like we did with Sam Darnold, just like we did with Deshaun Watson last year. This is a game against Texas. Rivalry game. And for context, we've got 4th and 3. Time running down here in the second quarter. Oklahoma has a 20-7 lead. Oklahoma in plus territory here. Football on the 32-yard line of Texas. Oklahoma comes out. They use 11 personnel. We've got running back in the backfield next to Mayfield here. We've got tight end, 3 receivers left, single receiver to the right. Texas shows 3-3-5 here. 3 down linemen. You've got 3 linebackers here. And they show man coverage outside. Look at the man coverage cues that Mayfield sees pre-snap. Slot corner looking right at his receiver. Boundary guy looking right at his receiver. Look at this guy. Press coverage over here. We've got the safety down in the box over the tight end. Free safety lurking deep. So Mayfield is thinking cover 1 here at the snap. Here's what they run on this play. We're going to get slant swing combination on the weak side. So we get slant route here. Swing route from the running back. This is basically a day 1 type install. This is something that when I played, this is one of the plays we installed first day of double sessions, first session of double sessions. And it's similar to slant flat, other sort of West Coast concepts. It's a good man coverage beater because you can get this guy, if you can get inside leverage on the slant route, that's an easy throw. If it's zone and these guys don't switch it right, you can hit the slant or you can hit this guy on the outside. But where Mayfield sees this pre-snap, he's, again, thinking cover 1. This is the sort of matchup now that he has to look at. Because this defender is going to be responsible unless they try to switch this quickly, which they're not going to do on 4th and 3. So this defender is going to be responsible for the back, out of the backfield. So Mayfield needs to read this guy. If he's slow to get out, you can take that swing. He'll stick on the slant route. You can pick up the first down. And he gets baited here. He takes the snap. He's already looking right here at this guy. And he's showing blitz. He's starting to come forward here. Swing route starting to develop. Again, look at Mayfield's field of vision. He's looking right here. At this point, he's still thinking this guy's coming. But look now. He's shifted his feet. He's now breaking on this. So Mayfield at this point thinks he's got this route. And he's got to get it out quickly. This is covered. He's not even looking backside. He's just reading this slant swing concept. Ball's out. Defender's breaking on it. Gets under it. Interception. It's a good play from the defender. You know, they bait him into this mistake. And sometimes that's what you have to do to experienced quarterbacks. You know, because if this defender doesn't show blitz, if he just comes out to the flat on the swing route here, Mayfield's going to throw this slant right behind him. See, let's just say that this guy's already over here for a second. Here's that slant route. Mayfield's going to throw it into this vacated area. But by baiting him, by showing that blitz and then peeling off, he fools Mayfield. Mayfield thinks that he's got this easy throw. He just lofts it out there. Defender gets under it. That's what you have to do to experienced quarterbacks. You have to bait them into mistakes, and they do it here. Here's his second interception of the year. This is a red zone play against Kansas State. For context, 2nd and goal at the +9, early second quarter. Kansas State has a 7-point lead. You show sort of zone coverage here, 4 down linemen. But they rotate late. Right before the snap, we're going to get blitz look off the edge, and they're going to rotate into man coverage. This defender, the slot defender, is going to come down. He's going to have him in man. Slot guy is running easy seam route. This is sort of the matchup that Mayfield wants to throw. Sees the blitz, makes a decision to go there, and gets it out. It's slightly underthrown. You want to get that a little bit deeper. But it's a tough throw to make because you've got to drop it in before he runs out of room. The defender makes a great play. You know, I think that's something where everybody can kind of agree on. This is a tremendous play by the defender here because it's basically a catch, and he rips it away. So I think Mayfield makes the right read there. You get that blitz look. You have the seam route. That's where he wants to go with it. Man coverage, no help. Slightly underthrown. Still a catchable ball. Something the receiver had his hands on. Defender makes a great play. Now we're going to look at an interception against Texas Tech. It's 42-27, midway through the third, 2nd and 6. Oklahoma ball on their own 24-yard line. Another 3-3-5 look in the secondary. Single high look in the secondary as we get to it late. We get, man coverage looks on the outside, so it's probably cover 1. That's what Mayfield's thinking pre-snap. You see this guy move over. You've got 21 offensive personnel, Y in the slot, inverted slot look. Divide backs in the backfield in the gun. And when this guy sort of sliding over late, Mayfield's thinking cover 1, free safety look and pre-snap. Now, I went through a number of playbooks to try to find, the right or at least a similar concept. And I found a couple of possibilities to what Oklahoma State runs on this play. There's, an air raid concept under Noel Mazzoni, 5-8-5. Because we'll see a comeback route here, a deep comeback. Y post. Whoa, that good. Okay. Sorry about that. Deep comeback route. Y post. And we'll out and up on the outside from the receiver you can't see. So that would be 5-8-5 across the board, right to left. Another potential similar type concept. You could also look at this as a Y cross concept. It's very similar to that. Y cross usually with a vertical route, cross and route from Y, curl, or comeback backside. Also an air raid staple. Read concept on that. Peek the go route. So you'll look here first, then come to the crossing route, then finally backside weak on that curl or comeback. Those are some potential similar plays to this one. Mayfield does read sort of from left to right. He opens left here, as you can see, looking at that out and up route. Now he wants to, you can tell he wants to throw that. He wants to make that aggressive decision. He even uses, I don't want to call it a full-on pump fake, but there it's just that little movement with the upper body. Now you see the pocket movement, the footwork. He comes off it. He's sliding to the left because he's got a little bit of pressure coming his way. Slides, quick reset, quick throw. I really like everything up until there. But this route is covered. Throw is high, slightly off target, and intercepted. We'll get another look at it from the end zone angle here. Here's the free safety. By hanging on that out and up as long as he does a good job of holding the free safety in the middle of the field. That will give him room and a throw-in window to hit Y, his tight end, as he comes back on that post. So he's looking here. He's looking at that out and up. This free safety has to hand in the middle of the field. There's that slight little extension of the ball, really small. Right there. Cornerback's in good position. Free safety's hand in the middle of the field. There's Y starting to break off his vertical stump to look towards the post. Footwork's pretty good. Slides, late throw. But I like everything sort of up until there. The one thing I would point out, if it was one of those concepts I talked about, this is your third read over here. That curl or comeback. There's a defender. There's cushion there to make this throw. Remember, it's 2nd and 6. You've got a big lead. This is a really aggressive decision. But that's Baker Mayfield. That's who he is. He's an aggressive quarterback. So you have to know that if you call this play in this situation, chances are he might make the aggressive decision when the situation might warrant you to get to that third read, to take that little hitch. You've got the lead. There's no sense forcing one and risking a turnover. But that's who Baker Mayfield is. And that's one of the questions facing evaluators and then his eventual NFL coaches. Can we tame back that aggression, and do we want to? You know, I've often talked about aggression at the quarterback position and how it's so vital to plan it, but I've also always said that it's much easier to try to get a guy to sort of dial it back than it is to teach a guy to be more aggressive. Because if you're a naturally risk-averse quarterback, it's hard to unlearn that. Whereas if you're a guy like Baker Mayfield, you're going to be, I think, more likely to dial it back a little bit at times. It's easier to dial it back. And I'm speaking from experience here because I was a risk-averse quarterback. And I never was able to become more aggressive. Baker Mayfield is already that guy that's willing to make those throws. Willing to make a throw like this when the situation doesn't warrant it. You know, so while I'd like to see him come back to this third read here, which is open, given the context, given the situation, this is who Baker Mayfield is. He's the aggressive guy. He thinks he can make this throw. It's covered. He'll take the perfect throw. He thinks he can make it. But that's sort of where I am on this play. Again, good job holding the free safety. I like the footwork, the way he sort of slides to the left, then comes back here. You know, that ability to sort of, you know, contrast his left foot with Sam Darnold's in the Sam Darnold video I just did. Because I love the way he works here at the last second to get that left foot, get that shoulder driving towards the target. Whereas Darnold would probably have his feet still like this, looking to make that throw. So that's a difference between those two quarterbacks. But it's still an interception. But again, you see that comeback on the backside. There he is right there. That's kind of open. I would have liked to see him make that throw, but this is who Baker Mayfield is. And it's up to everybody else in the world to see if that's what they want, if they can live with that. If you can, great. This might be your guy. Now we've got two final interceptions, both against Oklahoma State. And this first one, a play that I've spent a lot of time trying to diagnose from a coverage standpoint. I've gone back and forth on a couple of different coverage concepts I think it could be, but we'll get to that in a second. First, context. 3rd and 11, open and drive. Just over 14 minutes to go in the first quarter, tie game. We'll get sticks concept. I'm taking that from New England Patriots, their playbook. What is it? All curls right at the first down marker. Curl. Apologies for the wonky drawing there. Y sort of sits down middle of the field. Coverage-wise, like I said, I went back and forth on it. I think basically what we see on this play from Oklahoma State is cover 6. So you've got cover 2 look here. He'll have deep outside half. Cover 4 on this side over the trips. he'll be responsible, this defender here, if he sees vertical from number 1, this outside defender is going to have to sink under it to help the outside quarter safety. Because if you get vertical releases, which they do, he'll need to sink and help. Now, the other defense I thought it might have been was Kathy, cover 6 trap coverage look. Hat tip to Matt Bowen, who does great work. One of Matt Bowen's old Bleacher Report pieces, breaking down coverages, I still have them bookmarked. I come to them probably 3 or 4 times a day. So hat tip to Matt. But I thought it might be a trap coverage where he'll sort of sink and then break on any outside breaking routes here. And you'll see why I thought that in a second. But in the end, I really just think it's a cover 6 look where he's trying to sink under this. And as we see, makes a great play. So there's the look. Linebacker opens to number 3. You get half, quarter, quarter here. He jams and then starts to sink. Mayfield's looking at number 2 the entire way. And you can see why, especially when we get to the red zone view. I mean, the end zone view. Because this looks open. I mean, he hits right here. Linebacker here. The corner's here. Here's his target. Route looks pretty open. He does stare it down. He's looking there the entire way, but it looks open. But there's the corner lurking. He's sinking under this route, but his eyes are on Mayfield. And watch as he peels off that vertical route and gets into the throwing lane. You know, at first blush, this looks like a bad mistake from Baker Mayfield. But especially when you see what he saw, you can at least understand why he does what he does. There's the half-field safety, quarter, quarter. We don't even see that cornerback starting to sink with that vertical route. There's Baker loaded up to make the throw. He's made his decision. Here's that defender peeling off. So when you look at it right now, that looks open. Look at that throwing window. It's just he doesn't see this guy peel. Again, it's a situation where he gets baited into making a mistake, which is what you see against veteran quarterbacks. You've got to do some different things. You've got to make some good plays of your own to beat them, to make them make mistakes. And that's just a good play from that defender. Baker does need to see that. You know, and if, as we get into the college football playoff, if he makes another mistake like that, then I'd really be worried. Because he's got to learn from that and understand that if you see that coverage look against this concept, you've got to be aware of where that guy is. You know, he misses it once. You know, fool me once. Can't get fooled again, right? Last play. And this is one I really sort of put on him. Hat tip to Billy Marshall, who is at BillyM_91. Underfollowed account on Twitter. Does a lot of X's and O stuff. He pointed out when he was looking at Mayfield that this was basically 96, which is another all curls concept. That dates back to Mike Leach and the air raid offense. Curl, curl, curl. Cover 4 look in the red zone. 3rd and goal. You're up 3 late in the game. You got to think about situational awareness. Mayfield's looking at his tight end all the way. He does that sometimes. A couple of these interceptions have been in his direction. Something to think about. Defender to watch is right here. You see sort of off coverage over the tight end. Bit of a hesitation here. Bit of a double clutch. Not a full double clutch, but he does pause for a second. This defender, this whole defender underneath, is just reading Baker Mayfield. Reading his eyes. As the tight end starts to sort of curl inside, we get one, the mistake where by staring this down all the way, he allows the linebacker to get under it. 2, the ball placement is a bit off anyway. First, you see the interception, the rotation, interception by the defender. Now, Mayfield's defense, not a lot of other options to go with the ball. Oklahoma State sort of plays coverage here. They only rush 3, make that 4 because this guy comes late. They drop 7, so you have 7 over 4. Not great numbers. So he does make the throw. Linebacker cuts under it, interception. Now looking at it from the end zone angle, you see the cover 4 look. Linebackers here. You can see how Mayfield is just staring that route down. Takes a snap, looks left the entire way, looking at this guy, looking at this route. And now the linebacker does slide a bit over that sit route from the running back, but it's not enough. And now look at the ball placement. You know, he makes the pick here. This ball is going this way. You have the defender with inside leverage on it as well. And so you wonder if Mayfield decides to put it more outside, if that works better given the situation, given the leverage that these defenders have on the inside. Maybe you try to put this more outside, trust that your guy can make the adjustment, and if he doesn't, it's incompletion. You guys kick the field goal and you're up 6 with 3 minutes to go. But he misses that underneath defender. He leaves it inside, allows this defender to make the play. This guy would have been in position as well. Interception. But that's it. Those are the 5. And, you know, we've tried to get into sort of his mental process here. And as you can see on a couple of these, it's either he's making an aggressive decision like the interception against Texas Tech. Defender makes a great play, that one against Kansas State. This first one against Texas, they have to bait him a bit. The first one against Oklahoma State, they have to bait him a bit. And the second one against Oklahoma State, that's probably the one I put most on his shoulders. But not a ton of mistakes. But he's still an aggressive quarterback. And that's going to be the thing that evaluators, that personnel people and coaches are going to have to figure out with him. Because I think Baker Mayfield can certainly run an NFL offense, can be successful as an NFL quarterback. But you're going to have to live with some mistakes. You're going to have to live with him making some aggressive decisions. In terms of him making throws against man coverage and making window throws, there's evidence of that on tape as well, which we'll probably get into later as draft season rolls on. But for now, I thought it was a worthwhile exercise to take a look at his interceptions. And before we close, a shout out to Jake Burns. Jake is on Twitter. He is at Jake_Burns, BURNS 18. You know, he sort of planted this idea in my head, shared with me the cut-up of Mayfield's interceptions. I added some footage, some turnover stuff. But a shout-out to Jake. Give Jake a follow on Twitter. Do follow him at Jake_Burns 18. He does some great work covering the Browns, doing some cut-ups, doing some analysis, particularly on Mondays and Tuesdays. So give him a follow. Thanks again, Jake, for planting this bug in my ear. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of First Sound, breaking down Baker Mayfield's interceptions. Up next, I'm going to look up Lamar Jackson because we're still on that hill. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody.